Here we go. This meeting of the Mahwah Board of Education is open to members of the public to be physically present. Members of the public that attend will be asked to follow the same procedures as all other visitors to our schools. Those procedures can be found on the agenda page of our website. Additionally, the board meeting will be live streamed for viewing purposes only. Anyone wishing to view the meeting may do so via Zoom. Webinar ID is 895-4529-8434. And the required password is 205102. All right, I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please. Ms. Hiramoto.
Mr. De Silva,
Here.
Mr. Kazmarski, Mr. Copeland, Mr. Gallo,
Here.
Ms. Davanero,
Here.
Mr. Houston,
Here.
Mr. Hughes,
Here.
Mrs. Ting Jansen, here, Dr. Morthy.
Here. Adequate notice of the agenda for this meeting has been provided to the Ridgewood News and the Record, specifying that the Mahwah Board of Education will meet on March 25th, 2026 in the administrative offices, 60 Ridge Road, Mahwah, New Jersey. Copy was filed with the Township Clerk. Our salute to the flag this evening. Mr. Houston, would you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we don't need an executive session in the beginning, so let us move on to agenda questions. Please limit your questions at this time to resolutions under new business on this agenda. As a matter of fairness, you're asked to limit your questions to no more than one and your remarks to no longer than 3 minutes. If you're here representing a group, please identify yourself, the group, and your position in the group. If you're here as an individual, please provide your name and address. All right, I need a motion to open the meeting to the public. Mr. De Silva, second by Mr. Gallo. We are officially open to the public. All right, seeing no one come forth at this time, motion to close the meeting to the public, Mr. Hughes, and second by Ms. Ting Jansen. All right, our Mahwah student representative report this evening.
It's a long one, so bear with me.
Excellent, lot going on. Thank you.
Robotics did well at Robbinsville. Their alliance placed third. They won the Judges Award for Safety. And they're moving to the Mid-Atlantic District Championship in Lehigh in April. Winter Guard came in second place in their division at Hunterton Regional Competition. Jazz Band earned silver rating at Livingston Jazz Festival, and Sebastian Miller was selected as best soloist out of all the jazz bands at the festival. Community problem solving took first for their Project Hero. Future problem solvers won many awards, including first place for global issues and first place for Magic Team. In total, between both groups, 28 Thunderbirds earned spots to compete in the international competition held in Indiana in June. Our spring sports are starting this week. We're doing Mindful Spirit Week at the high school with each day celebrating an SEL competency. And lastly, our symphonic band earned a gold rating at the North Jersey Music Festival held at Mount Olive.
Fantastic.
Amazing, thank you very much. All right, our superintendent's report, Dr. DeToro.
Now it's not as long.
Is there a tag team? Should I just
Thanks a lot.
should I introduce both of you now? And Dr. Fair? I think this has
We're
become
like
a
a
tag.
combo platter.
It's a combo.
Yeah.
It's a 1-2 punch, as they say.
It feels right.
That's what they say.
Okay.
So Dr. DeToro,
Let's go over the
Dr.
ones that
Fair.
weren't taken. Okay. So our food drive, our referendum vote became an opportunity to give back as Rampo Ridge students organized a community food drive using the theme 2 cans, 2 questions. Students collected donations prior to voting day and proudly contributed their efforts to support the Center for Food Action. This initiative highlighted both civic engagement and compassion for the Mahwah community. And that one's a little bit longer. I just wanted to take a moment to read something to the board and to the community. I would like to take a moment to express my sincere thanks to the Mahwah community for your support in the recent referendum. With the passage of question 1, approved by a vote of 2,048 to 1,822. You have demonstrated a clear commitment to the future of Mahwah Public Schools and to the students we serve. This outcome did not happen by chance. It is the result of tremendous collective effort grounded in transparency, communication, and a shared belief in the importance of our strong public schools. Over the past several months, we held more than 20 communication sessions, published articles in the papers, maintained an updated website, and an active email address for questions and inquiries, all this designed to ensure that the residents had accurate information, opportunities to ask questions, and a clear understanding of what was being proposed. To everyone who attended those sessions, engaged in conversations, and took the time to learn more, we thank you. I would also like to recognize that many individuals and groups whose work made this possible. Thank you to our communication committee, made up of various Mahwah community members, for their tireless efforts in sharing information across multiple platforms. Thank you to the Board of Education and Community Relations Committee, as well as the Finance and Facility Committees, for their leadership and thoughtful planning. Thank you to the full board for their guidance and support through this process. And to the many community members who helped share accurate information, engage neighbors in meaningful dialogue, and encourage participation in the vote, your contributions were invaluable. To our administrative team and staff, thank you for your professionalism and commitment to ensuring that our community was informed and our students remained at the center of every decision. The passage of question 1 represents more than a successful vote. It positions our district's infrastructure on a solid footing for years to come. These improvements will directly impact the learning environment for our students, ensuring that our facilities are safe, functional, and aligned with the expectations of high-quality educational experience. At the same time, it is important to acknowledge that while this referendum addresses critical capital needs for the maintenance of our facilities, our operating budget will continue to present significant challenges. We are facing rising costs across multiple areas, including benefits, increasing at the state level by approximately 30%. Keeping in mind that our faculty and staff do make financial contributions to insurance costs, and still the increase is double digits. Utilities rising at approximately 20%, possibly more, and transportation costs increasing by 3.6%, to name just a few guaranteed rising costs. Escalating expenses that are coupled with the mandated 2% tax levy cap, it creates a very real and ongoing budgetary issue. Despite these pressures, we remain committed to fiscal responsibility. Each budget cycle requires careful planning, difficult decisions, and continued focus on prioritizing what matters most for our students while being mindful of our taxpayers. No 2 years are the same, and each presents a new set of financial challenges that we must navigate thoughtfully and strategically. While the referendum vote is an important milestone, it is also the beginning of the next phase of our work. Planning is already underway, and we are fully committed to executing these projects with care, transparency, and accountability. We will ensure that every step reflects what we proudly call the Mahwah standard, a standard defined by excellence, responsibility, and community trust. Allow me to take a moment to thank 2 other members of the Central Office team and provide my sincere appreciation to Catherine and Barbara of the Business Office for their exceptional work and dedication in ensuring that our budget remains balanced, responsible, and aligns with the needs of our district. Their expertise and diligence are critical to maintaining the financial stability of Mahwah Public Schools. It remains mine and Dr. Fair's priority that together our district and community will continue to move forward thoughtfully, responsibly, and always with our students at the center of all that we do. I thank you. Thanks. She talked about Connor already, but I'll say it again. The Bergen County School Boards Association Unsung Hero Award celebrates students who make meaningful contributions behind the scenes through resilience, empathy, and strong character. We are proud to recognize Connor Yitzgary as our district's unsung hero. His positive impact exemplifies the spirit of this distinguished honor. And she said this one too. Congratulations to the Robo T-Birds for earning 3rd place overall and receiving the Judges Award at their recent competition in Robbinsville, my old stomping grounds. This recognition highlights the team's commitment to excellence and safe practices. We wish them the best of luck as they advance to the next round. A great part of this story is we were with Mr. Montana right before the first competition, and the robot wasn't done, and he was stressed that it wasn't going to be ready. So the commitment of the kids, of Mrs. Schwartz, Mr. Montana, and the volunteers, we can't thank everybody enough for really staying committed to the job. They did an excellent, excellent job. We have a wrestling milestone. We love sharing these types of milestones. Congratulations to junior captain Lindsay Cunningham on placing 3rd at the regional wrestling tournament. Lindsay made Mahwah history by becoming just the 2nd female wrestler to advance to the state tournament in Atlantic City. We are incredibly proud of her dedication and achievement. This one, we're really proud of our staff for taking on leadership roles. Our staff continues to shine as leaders in education, recently presenting at professional development events. Christy Hardigan Miller shared insights on meeting the challenges of K-2 and high school gifted and talented identification and programming. Aldana Conrad, Chrissy Shannon, and Morgan Ridgway each led sessions for team middle school professional development. Their expertise reflects the strength and innovation within our district. And the next one was taken, but I'm going to read it anyway. Our T-Birds earned 2nd place for their performance of the Garden at Maine Scholastics Region 1 A1 competition at Hunterdon Central High School. Congratulations on this outstanding achievement. In addition, the Mahwah High School Jazz Band received a silver rating at the Livingston Jazz Festival, where senior Sebastian Miller was honored with the Best Soloist Award. We are proud of our talented musicians for continuing to impress and inspire.
I'll just transition into my report. All right, great. So you'll see here Brecken Cole. Brecken Cole has just been accepted into the prestigious All New Jersey State Orchestra as a 10th grader. This elite ensemble will perform at the Teachers Convention and NJ PAC this November. We are proud of Brecken's dedication and musical excellence. We've had some academic competitions and student success that are worthy of celebrating this evening as well. Mahwah proudly hosted the perennial math competition in person for the first time, welcoming students in grades 3 through 8 to engage in challenging, logic-based problem solving. Our students delivered an outstanding performance, earning numerous individual and team honors across multiple grade levels. In addition, Rampo Ridge teams excelled at the Future Problem Solving State Bowl, demonstrating creativity, collaboration, and critical thinking throughout the competition. Several teams earned top placements and invitations to the international level, again showcasing our students' exceptional talent. We talked about our self-contained students from the high school before, but now they have visited Lenape Meadows School to read to our youngsters. The visit provided a meaningful opportunity for students to share experiences, build relationships, and foster a sense of community across all grade levels. And again, this is the spirit by which Mahwah Connects was born and continues to thrive. Table-to-Table program. Pontonian Food Services has been recognized by Table to Table for its efforts in rescuing food and reducing waste. This honor reflects a strong commitment to sustainability and supporting those in need within our community. Another piece that we don't have a slide because we just received the email minutes ago. We have 2 students who are part of our broadcast journalism and digital media program. Their documentaries were just selected for the Garden State Film Festival high school category of New Jersey Hometown Documentaries, which is so awesome. So congrats to William Nixon and Valentina Moreno. The documentary will be shown Sunday, March 29th at Asbury Park during the festival. So a big shout out to Miss Longo. She's our new broadcast journalism and digital media instructor over at the high school. What's awesome is when we offered her the job, we had shared with her we want to get on the map with our students' work because they do such an awesome job, and she's done it within months. So congrats to her, and congrats to our program.
This just in.
Yes, this just in.
Breaking news.
Yes, we have some huge retirement announcements. We'll start with Mr. Pushy. I know. Let me just preface by saying we have 3 wonderful people exiting from our district this spring. The first is Mr. Cushy, who has given 16 years of service to our district, and we're proud of his work here. He's served as our middle school teacher of special education in the content area of social studies at Rampo Ridge. Throughout his time at Rampo Ridge, Tom has been a consistently positive and professional member of our school community. His commitment to supporting students has been evident in every aspect of his work, from the classroom to the hallways and beyond. Tom has gone above and beyond by supervising students on afternoon bus duty and welcoming everyone each morning during arrival. If you've ever been in the line, you'll know that his thoughtful touch of playing a variety of music during arrival has created a warm, upbeat atmosphere for both students and parents alike, setting a positive tone for the day ahead. Tom's dedication, reliability, and genuine care for students have made a lasting impact on our school community, and he will be greatly missed by colleagues, students, and families. As Tom begins this exciting new chapter, he looks forward to spending time on the golf course and enjoying many special moments with his wife Sharon, his sons Brian and Kevin, and his daughter Kelly. So congratulations to Tom, well-earned retirement. We hope for nothing but happiness and relaxation in his retirement. Secondly, we have Andrea Samini, also from the Ridge. What an honor it is to recognize her work here in district. She's a truly dedicated educator who has served our school community for 32 years and 2 months. As a special education teacher, she has worked in a variety of settings, including self-contained classes, resource room instruction, and in-class support. In these roles, Ms. Samini was always focused on helping students build confidence in their learning and in themselves. And if you've ever seen Andrea teach, she is known to connect with any and all types of learners, which is huge. During her time at the Ridge, Ms. Samini strived to be involved beyond the classroom. She served as homework club advisor, lunch duty supervisor, and morning duty staff member, often being one of the first smiling faces to welcome students each day, or one of the last teachers that students would be connected with at the end of the day. Throughout her career, Andrea has exemplified what it means to be an educator, dedicated, compassionate, and upbeat, while making a meaningful difference in the lives of her students and her colleagues. So we wish Andrea all the best. For our last retirement announcement, Mr. Pascal, he actually walked in on my office and he saw his Outlook picture. So when I pull these pictures, I pull it from their mail, like our Outlook mail system. And he said, please don't use that picture. So he said, I'll send you better pictures. So, and typical John. What's awesome is that these pictures, just gives you like a quick sliver of what he has done here in the district. He has done everything in the best interest of students, no matter what. So when John called me to share the news, my heart literally sank. At first, I thought he was joking because that's how John is. And then he paused, and I was like stunned. So what a dedicated man and educator John has been all of these years. Actually, I shared with him because he was part of the hiring process back in 2011 when I became supervisor in the district. And what I've learned from him over the years, I said to him, he's like helped me grow into a young man. Really, I've grown up with John providing me with many in-district and life lessons. So his retirement marks the end of an incredible era at Mahwah High School, where his impact has been felt in every hallway, every classroom, and every corner of the community. From his early days as a chemistry teacher to his leadership as assistant principal and principal, he has dedicated himself wholeheartedly to the success of his students and staff. He has been far more than an administrator. He has been a constant, familiar presence at games, at performances, and at any and all events, always showing up to support and celebrate his students and his staff. No matter the day, no matter the weather, John always showed up. His unwavering commitment, often working around the clock, reflects a deep love and commitment for the school and the people in it. As a member of this leadership team, he's been a source of strength, encouragement, and steady guidance through every challenge and triumph. John's kindness, dedication, and genuine care have left a lasting impression on all who have had the privilege to work with and learn from him. And while we certainly have the opportunity to formally celebrate John's retirement this spring. I hope that in this moment, he knows that Mahwah High School will forever be better because of him, and he will be deeply missed as he begins this well-deserved new chapter. So we hope that in his retirement, he truly knows that he left a lasting mark on this district and on this team.
Thank you.
That's it for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and well said about our retirees. Next, Ms. Hiramoto, you have a report for us this evening, a budget presentation. Thank you.
Probably not. Here.
Oh, yeah.
You should.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Tonight is the first of 3 presentations on the 26-27 preliminary budget. The goal of this evening's presentation is to provide a high-level overview of the district's financial framework. Specifically, we will be reviewing our revenue sources, options related to the tax levy, and the adoption of the preliminary budget. This presentation is intended to lay the foundation, and in the next 2 presentations, we will continue to build on this with more detailed information leading up to the adoption of the final budget. As we move into the state revenue and taxation, I want to start with a few important concepts that guide how we build the budget each year. First, under New Jersey state law, the district is limited to a 2% increase in the local tax levy. This cap is one of the most significant constraints in the budgeting process, as it directly impacts how much revenue we are able to generate locally. There are limited exceptions to this cap. One of those is through what's called a health benefits waiver adjustment. This allows a district to exceed the 2% cap if there are unusually high increases in health insurance costs or significant changes in student enrollment. However, it's important to note that these adjustments must be justified annually and do not carry forward from year to year. Another concept is banked cap. This refers to unused taxing authority from prior years where the district increased the levy by less than 2%. That unused capacity can be carried forward and used within the next 3 years. For the 26-27 budget, the district does not have any banked cap available, meaning we are limited strictly to the 2% increase unless a waiver is applied. On this slide, we're looking at how the district's tax levy was developed for the 26-27 school year. Based on the 2% cap, the district's allowable tax levy is $74,468,294. This represents an increase of $1,460,163 from the 25-26 school year. In addition to the 2% increase, the district elected to utilize a health benefits waiver adjustment in the amount of $1,411,291. With the inclusion of the waiver, the total tax levy for the 26-27 budget is $75,879,585. Overall, this is an increase of $2,871,454 from the prior year, or 3.93%, with a 1.93% of that increase directly attributable to health waiver adjustment. I do want to take a moment to provide additional context around the health benefits, as this is a major driver of the budget. The district budgets conservatively for health benefits due to the volatility and continued increases in costs. For the 26-27 budget, we have projected a 20% increase in medical costs. Our medical plan renews every January and runs on a calendar year, which makes it more challenging to estimate costs for the latter half of the school year at the time of budget development. In addition, our prescription and dental benefits renew every July and operate on a fiscal year basis. For the 26-27 school year, prescription benefits are estimated to increase by approximately 40%, and dental benefits by approximately 12%. These are significant increases that the district must absorb each year, and we work to carefully balance these rising costs while maintaining our programs and operations. Although we were fortunate to transition from the state health benefits plan to a private plan in 2025, reducing what could have been a 30% increase down to approximately 17.5%, the reality is that health benefit costs continue to rise year over year. It is also important to note that while the district did utilize a health waiver adjustment, we did not maximize the full amount available. Districts may request up to 29.9% if justified. However, we budget conservatively and remain mindful of the impact on our taxpayers. The health waiver is critical in helping to offset these increases. Without it, it would be extremely difficult to balance the budget, and the district would likely need to make reductions in staffing, student programs, and other areas that directly impact our schools and our students. By utilizing the waiver in a responsible and measured way, we are able to maintain our programs, support our staff, and continue to provide a high-quality education while remaining fiscally responsible and mindful of our community. On this slide, we're looking at our state aid and federal revenue sources. For the 26-27 school year, the district's total state aid is $5,328,466 compared to $5,026,856 in the 25-26 school year. This reflects an increase of $301,610 or approximately 6%. Our state aid is made up of several components, including transportation aid, special education aid, and security aid. In addition to state aid, we also budget for SEMI revenue, which is the Special Education Medicaid Initiative. SEMI is a program that allows school districts to receive reimbursement from Medicaid for certain health-related services provided to eligible special education students, such as speech therapy, occupational therapy, and other related services. The district provides these services first and then submits documentation to the state in order to receive partial reimbursement, which helps offset those costs. For the 26-27 school year, we have budgeted $40,591 in SEMI revenue compared to $8,789 on the prior year. This increase is due to updated guidance from the New Jersey Department of Education, which now requires districts to budget a minimum of 90% of their projected SEMI reimbursement. The amount budgeted is provided directly by the Department of Education and is not determined locally by the district. Moving into federal revenue, I do want to briefly explain what these grants support. For the 25-26 school year, the district received $185,862 in ESCA grant funding, which includes Title I through Title V grants. For the 26-27 budget, we have conservatively budgeted $139,396, which is a decrease of $46,466. ESCA funding is used to support a variety of student-focused programs, including supplemental instruction, such as after-school tutoring and summer programs, professional development for staff, and resources to support student achievement, including support for English language learners and family engagement initiatives. Similarly, for IDEA grant funding, the district received $688,014 in the 25-26 school year, and we have budgeted $515,109 for the 26-27 school year, a decrease of $172,905. IDEA funding is specifically used to support special education services, including out-of-district tuition for students, as well as programs and services that ensure students with disabilities receive the support they need. These reductions are not necessarily indicative of a loss of funding, but rather reflects county guidance, which directs districts to budget federal revenues at approximately 75% of prior year actuals. This approach ensures that we are budgeting conservatively and avoiding over-reliance on uncertain federal funding sources. This slide outlines the key strategies the district used to balance the 26-27 budget in a responsible and sustainable way. Before getting into the details, I do want to note that fund balance and reserves are additional revenue sources that the district may utilize to support the budget when needed. Starting with fund balance. When we refer to fund balance, we're talking about surplus funds from prior years, meaning funds that were not spent in previous budgets. This can occur when revenues come in higher than anticipated or when expenditures come in lower than expected. Districts are permitted to use a portion of that fund balance as revenue source in future budgets. However, it is important to understand that this is a one-time funding source and not something we can rely on year after year. With that in mind, the district has reduced the amount of fund balance being utilized in the 26-27 budget. We have budgeted $2,506,002 compared to $2,875,458 in the prior year. This represents a 12.85% reduction and reflects a more conservative approach, ensuring we're not over-relying on one-time funds to support ongoing expenses. Next, looking at reserves. Similar to fund balance, reserves are also funding sources set aside by the district for specific purposes, such as emergencies, capital projects, or maintenance needs. For the 26-27 school year, we have significantly reduced our dependency on reserve funding with an overall decrease of 80.77% year over year. Specifically, no funds have been budgeted from emergency reserve or capital reserve in the 26-27 school year, compared to $200,000 and $800,000 respectively in the prior year. For maintenance reserve, we have reduced the amount budgeted from $300,000 to $250,000. Maintenance reserve is specifically used to support increases in maintenance-related costs across the district, helping us address ongoing upkeep and operational needs of our facilities. These changes are intentional and support long-term financial stability by preserving reserves for future needs and emergencies. In addition, we continue to focus on our ongoing fiscal responsibility. This includes targeted reductions in areas such as technology and supplies, along with ongoing evaluation of programs to ensure we are operating as efficiently as possible without negatively impacting students. Finally, we are focusing on increasing other revenue opportunities. This includes maximizing interest earnings on district funds. Together, these strategies allow us to balance the budget while maintaining our programs and strengthening the district's overall financial position. This slide provides a summary of all budgeted revenues for the 26-27 school year, including both operating and grant revenues. The total proposed budget is $86,382,564. For comparison, the total budget in the 25-26 school year was $85,585,505. This represents an overall increase of $797,059, or approximately 0.93% from the prior year. While the overall budget increases under 1%, there are several key areas that contributed to the changes within the budget. The local tax levy increased by 3.93%, which includes the use of health benefits waiver adjustments that was discussed earlier. In addition, other local revenue, which includes rental revenue, miscellaneous revenue, and interest income, increased by $543,215. This increase is largely due to a more refined and accurate analysis of these revenue sources based on actual trends. State aid increased by approximately 6%, and extraordinary aid increased by $500,000. It is important to note that the district typically receives over $1 million in extraordinary aid each year. However, we budgeted conservatively below that amount. Semi-revenue also increased by $31,802 compared to the prior year. At the same time, there were several areas where revenue sources were reduced. We reduced our reliance on one-time funding sources. Budgeted fund balance decreased by 12.85%. Maintenance reserve withdrawals decreased by 16.67%. Additionally, there are no capital reserve or emergency reserve withdrawals included in the 26-27 budget compared to the prior year. I also want to briefly clarify the adjustment for prior year encumbrances that you see on the chart. This is not something that districts budget for directly. That amount is entered after the annual audit is completed and is automatically reflected in the budget system. For reference, the original approved 25-26 budget was $82,899,434. The difference you see in comparison to the $85,585,505 reflects the adjustment for prior year encumbrances totaling $1,724,867, as well as differences between actual revenues received as of February 1st, 2026, and what was originally budgeted. Overall, although there are increases in certain areas, such as tax levy, those increases are offset by reductions in other revenue sources and more conservative budgeting practices. This is why the overall budget increase is only 0.93%, despite the tax levy increasing by 3.93%. As we wrap up tonight's presentation, I'd like to briefly outline the next steps in the budget process. Our second budget presentation will take place on April 8th. During that meeting, we will take a deeper dive into the expenditure side of the budget, including special education, benefits and operations, enrollment, personnel, and capital outlay and projects. Our third and final budget presentation will be held on April 29th, where we will present a final summary and seek the adoption of the 26-27 budget. Before we wrap up tonight's presentation, I'd like to take a moment to thank Dr. DeToro, Dr. Fair, Lisa Rizzo, Jody Kraft, Barbara Comer, and the entire Mahwah administration team for their support, collaboration, and input throughout this entire process. I also want to thank the Finance and Facilities Committee for their continued dedication, thoughtful feedback, and guidance. So we appreciate everyone's time and attention this evening and look forward to continuing these discussions at our next presentation. Also, any questions? Yes.
Real quick, so going back to the beginning of the presentation, you mentioned the significant increase in healthcare expenditures. Do we have any specifics as to what is driving the increase in healthcare costs for the healthcare plan?
That is a good question.
Well, if we had the answer to that, that could be on a national level. What I can tell you is we're really at the mercy of the providers. Actually, at the state level, as Ms. Aramoto said, at the state level, they're hovering around 30%.
Yeah.
And thankfully, we were able to get into the private plan, which helps us that we're at 17.
Right now, 17.5%.
So that's significant along the lines of the offset or cost avoidance, as Mr. Gallo would say. So no, I don't have an answer of exactly why the premiums or the costs are rising at a massive pace year over year. I wish I could tell you it was an anomaly, but unfortunately it's starting to become a norm. And what I also can tell you is this is not something that's specific to Mahwah. In my consortium across Bergen County, and I'm also on the state government relations board, every district is crushed by the costs and have to make some really hard decisions. I'm really proud to say we're at a really good place, as I said, right now, and we'll continue to make sure that we're looking at all of our different costs to make sure that we are prepared for what's to come. I can't say what is to come. That's the hardest part about it, because every year is it October or November, we get the new costs for January. So what we'll be able to report, Mr. Aramoto will be able to come in the fall and tell us this is what's coming from January to December of the 27 year. So I know that I didn't answer your question, but I wanted to try to give you the context of what we're dealing with on a state level and more importantly on a national level.
Which obviously trickles down to us. And healthcare has been on our radar for years and years and years. And for many years, we've been able to take advantage of switching plans to a private healthcare facility. We changed our healthcare advisor from Brown & Brown to IMAC a number of years ago. They've been very helpful in helping guide our policy decisions. Now, we've had two things also happen. We had Chapter 78, which began the process of employee contributions to their health care. And then we had Chapter 44 a couple of years ago, which changed the dynamic of the contribution rate. It's related now to the employee's salary as opposed to the cost of the plan. So by its very nature, employee salaries don't grow as fast as the costs do, so the more the cost of the health care, the health benefit will transition to districts. So many districts where they have a lot more Chapter 44 employees, they're experiencing much higher levels of increase, and it's going to be very difficult for them. But again, we have the healthcare waiver, and we used it last year, we're using it this year. And if you go to the slide where you saw the 2% cap and the healthcare waiver, the healthcare waiver itself is like 90% of our, if our increase was 1.4,060,000 compared to 1,411,000, healthcare costs alone wipe out our 2% cap. Wipe it out.
Oh, yeah.
So that assumes that the cost of electricity, the cost of paper and pencils and salaries and transportation, every other element that makes the district turn on every morning would not be able to be paid for if we did not have access to the healthcare waiver. And I think one of the themes that sort of gets lost here a little bit sometimes in the weeds is most districts are going for a 30% waiver. We went for a 20% waiver. So we didn't completely exhaust our healthcare waiver benefit, but because we knew on the other side of the equation, on the appropriation side of the equation, the expense side, is that we could make our programs work with this funding envelope. So we were, again, as Catherine and Mike both have emphasized, is we were very mindful of our taxpayers, because 3.93% is still higher than the 2% that they would be expecting.
Yeah.
So this is a good news, bad news story. We're better than the rest, but it's still not a great story for, long term. Now, one of the things of one of the themes of this budget is to reduce or curtail one-time revenue sources, like Catherine pointed out, the use of the fund balance. That was like a $370,000, reduction in revenue. $1,050,000 in reduction in reserve accounts. So that's all revenue we had to make up from somewhere else. So in future presentations, when we talk about appropriation, the expense side of the equation, there are reductions in expenses that are consistent with our ongoing fiscal responsibility and prudence to keep our costs in line. And the other thing is, this sets us up relatively well for next year. Most districts, they go, oh my God, we got to the end of this budget. God knows what the hell's going to happen next year.
We'll have time.
And you can watch plenty of those budget presentations at other board meetings, as I have, and it's painful to watch, because you go, that car accident's going to happen next year, just the same way it happened this year. We don't have that situation. So combined with the fact that we had the support of the public on question 1 in the bond referendum, that takes an element of risk out of our budget in terms of the operating, maintaining our buildings, as Dr. DeToro pointed out. But healthcare is going to be an ongoing risk factor in our budget. And then the other stuff we really can't control. We can't control the cost of electricity, and paper and pencils and all the supply side of the equation. But I think it's hard to explain to people, oh yeah, you have a 3.92% budget increase, but that is phenomenal relative to other districts and neighboring where they're looking at increasing class sizes, reducing programs, cutting staff. We will have some staff reductions, you'll see that in a future presentation, but they're very reasonable compared to, and they don't affect any of our programs. We're not increasing class size, we're not limiting programs, we're not going out to the public for activity fees and other types of gimmicks that other districts have had to do in order to make the books come together. So, Dr. DeToro gave a very eloquent introduction to today's presentation, And it's unfortunate nobody here is here from the public to hear it.
Hey, we have.
We
But
do.
we have two voters out there. But
We have a
we're-
resident.
Yes, but you never asked any questions.
Careful what you wish for.
But this is a budget we can really, really be proud of. It is both thinking about the current year, but it is also future thinking about where we're going down the road. And I think, people always ask me like, why is that district, I read about them in the paper, why is that district out of control? And I think it really is that one-year focus. Because the budget really is built as this one-year type of thing. You get done, and you go, oh my God, thank God we got there. We have an administrative leadership team that thinks like, oh yeah, if we do this could have a consequence a year or two down the road. And this budget is very cognizant of taking some of those one-time revenue sources out, which really makes it a much more sustainable budget. As Dr. DeToro pointed out in his opening remarks, there are things that will still be problematic in future years, but we reduce that risk, the amount of risk that we're facing in the future is less because of actions we've taken and the things we've thought about going forward.
We control what we can control.
Correct.
Yep.
Can you go back to slide 7 real quick, just so I want to take a picture of it, so.
Which slide?
Okay.
7,
7.
thank you.
I also wanted to just, the last one. I just wanted to also follow up, Chris, to your question.
This is going to be on the video too.
Ms. Hiramoto, you mentioned, and I don't know if you heard, the healthcare costs are 17.5, but prescription costs
40%.
is 40%. So again, I think, this has been a consistent issue that, finance and facilities, our administrative team, everyone is talking about the same area, and it has to do with healthcare costs, whether it's prescriptions, whether it's dental, whether it's the plans. And I mean, what I could say is we've tried as much as possible also to encourage our staff and employees to look at at various plans, because there's a variety of plans that are offered, and that's also been an education process as well. So I would say, Chris, this is just a consistent issue, and I mean, we can't understand it. I don't think people have solutions for it as to why does it keep going up, but it does in this country and in New Jersey and in Mahwah. But I think we've done the due diligence to whatever we can do to try to contain it, but some of it's just, I think, out of our hands. It's truly a struggle. And as Dr. DeToro spoke to me the other day, we were just talking about how other districts are having to cut staff. I mean,
6 and 7%.
Well,
Six
yeah,
and-
that's gonna be the next thing,
Yeah.
because of those increased costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a bigger term issue that
Yeah.
we're on a very small level trying to manage, but, we seem to be doing the best job that we can, but yeah.
On the prescription side, the explosion in
40.
the use of GLP-1s is a big driver.
Oh, it's the GLPs, okay.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
And, the other thing to really, Ms. Hiramoto kind of touched on it, but to really understand is the 17% increase that we're talking about for health insurance. They work on, that's on a calendar year. So that 17% was for the second half of last school year and the first half of this school year. We have no idea what it's gonna be for the second half of this school year, even though we have to have the budget now, to kind of illustrate the absurdity of some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So, coming off of one of the one-time revenue sources, I liken it to, you look at nutrition, you're weaning yourself off of the sugar so that you're more on the protein, right? It makes sense that, the one-time.
Protein's good.
Well, that's it. It's.
There you go.
It's, I think when you see districts around us that are having to go to the public for bond referendums so that they can balance their budget next year. I mean, when you look at stuff like that, like that's actually happening around us, and then you look at this, I mean, and you'll see in the next two presentations, but we're in a really good place.
Ms. Jansen?
I just want to say thank you to Catherine for all of her work. I mean, the way I have learned personally so much from the committee and from you pulling this together, this is phenomenal. So when Mr. Gallo says, look at the other options of how you present this is phenomenal. So we should be really proud of this work because it sets us up for success. It sets us up so that when we talk about reducing teachers, it's done in a thoughtful way where we're reconfiguring rooms based on what we need, not because we have to because of finances, right? So I'm really grateful because every effort in here is really conscious with the student in mind to get them the best experience with things that are out of our control, right? And that's where I think we have to normalize this conversation so it's not a shock factor, that it's more, okay, we're all navigating with this and we all are just doing the best we can. And that's really the intent of the committee.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And love the new look.
Thank you very much, yes.
Thanks to Barbara Culver too. She helped with this new look, so thanks, Barbara.
Thank you very much. I felt it was very clear for the non-finance person. It was me. Oh, you can go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I have something else.
Yeah, that's for you to share.
So, I'm pleased to share
You're good.
Don't leave us hanging.
What is she sharing?
the official results
Official
of the
results.
March 10th referendum special election. So for question 1, the results were as follows. On election day, 1,330 votes were cast in favor and 1,427 against. Mail-in ballots resulted in 678 votes in favor and 373 against. Provisional ballots totaled 40 votes in favor and 22 against. This brings the overall total for question 1 to 2,048 yes votes and 1,822 no votes, with a total of 3,870 ballots cast. For question 2, the results were as follows. On election day, 1,017 votes were cast in favor and 1,733 against. Mail-in ballots resulted in 534 votes in favor and 456 against. Provisional ballots totaled 35 votes in favor and 26 against. This brings the overall total for question 2 to 1,586 yes votes and 2,215 no votes, with a total of 3,801 ballots cast. So those were the results. I'm excited to share that question 1 was approved by the voters. This is a significant achievement for Mahwah and reflects the community support for investing in our schools and our students. So thanks, that's all.
And even though the vote
Thank you
was
very much.
close, in question 1, 9 of 14 voting districts voted yes on question 1. So there was widespread geographic community dispersion of the yes votes. And District 2, my district, 29.3% turnout.
Wow.
That's Betsy Ross.
That's a bad.
That's a great turnout.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ms. Yamamoto. And yes, very thorough budget report, and I felt like it was very understandable for someone who's not a finance person, so I thank you. And I will continue President's report. So first off, I just want to say there's a lot of holidays coming up. So we have Eid Mubarak to our Muslim community, we have Happy Passover to our Jewish community, and Happy Easter to our Christian community, and hopefully everyone will enjoy their spring break coming up. So all good holidays and good wishes to all. Dr. DeTroy, thank you for your thoughtful words on the referendum, and I also wanted to share as well a few words about the referendum as we're talking about all of that. So I'd first like the opportunity to thank everyone for all their hard work on the referendum process. This was not something that was just worked on in the last couple of months. It came to you in the last couple of months, but this is something that started, approximately a year ago in discussions and conversations in, preparing for what was then presented. So first off, I want to thank our administrative team, Dr. DeToro, Dr. Fair, Ms. Hiramoto, Ms. Rizzo, Ms. Kraft, for all your hard work. My fellow board members, I think each of us contributed in their community in many ways. So thank you to Mr. De Silva, to Mr. Kizmarski, to Ms. Daviniero, to Mr. Gallo, to Mr. Copland, to Ms. Ting Jansen, to Mr. Hughes, and to Mr. Houston. Our newest member, we kind of like, what is that, initiation by fire? Is that what they say? Like, boom, right? We threw you into it. And I also want to give really a special thanks to our community relations committee members and to our chairperson, Brett Copland, who really, they were having, weekly updates. They were having weekly meetings. They were really on the front lines. And also thank you, Mr. Gallo, to you for finance and facilities, and to your team as well, who did a lot of the legwork to get to where we were. So thank you very much for your diligence. I also wanted to thank our partners, LBC Communications, who worked with us, Rose from their team, and supported us every step of the way. The communication committee from the community that had multiple people on that. The people at Land Associates, our bond counsel, all the people who were part of this, principals, assistant principals, our staff, who helped get the word out and promote the special election. But most importantly, I really wanted to thank all of you who came out to vote. Most importantly, we asked you to vote. Voter turnout was, I think, what, 18, Mr. Gallo?
20%.
Close to 20%. A little over, Mr. Gallo tells me. And they actually, the communications consultants indicated that most special elections are 10 to 12%, because they didn't understand Mahwah, because we're a very unique place, and 20% is a good turnout. It's a great number. So again, we thank you for finding out what was going on. We thank you for attending the presentations, bringing questions, and getting out to vote, because really we really couldn't have done this part without you. So although not exactly the result we were looking for, would have been nice to have both questions. However, the passage, bless you, Mr. De Silva, the passage of question 1 in the amount of almost $80 million, I mean, we can kind of sit with that, is a true accomplishment to be very, very proud of. And it will be critical to maintaining the infrastructure of our buildings, as Dr. DeToro mentioned, while not directly having to affect our operating budget, our staffing, and our programming. So again, as we've spoken about, we're in a special place here. We really do say thank you for trusting us, and we will take this vote and your confidence in us, and we will do this responsibly and efficiently. We have already started looking at the projects, creating a timeline with our partners, and we will continue to keep you abreast. But I think we're kind of up and running, beginning looking at projects as soon as summer of this summer into fall for sure. So again, we just say, hopefully you will see that we use this money in a very efficient, responsible manner, and we look forward to looking and regrouping about some of the projects in question 2. But for now, we thank you, we appreciate your confidence, and we take it very seriously, and we will make sure that these projects are done properly for the school district and for the students here. So thank you very much to everybody. Last, I wanted to share about our top soaring T-birds. Wasn't taken. The one little thing that wasn't taken. So for February, it's a junior, Constantine, Hurov, I hope I pronounced that correctly, for being spirited. Do you guys know if that's
Yeah.
good? All right. Staff member noted that Connie always is upbeat and brings out the best in his peers, especially as an officer on the Technology Student Association. He's part of the Biotech Research and Health Science Pathway, boys soccer, boys tennis, the Technology Student Association, and Habitat for Humanity. And then our staff member is Matt Surich. Mr. Hughes, you know Matt Surich.
I sure do, yeah.
And my son and Mr. Hughes and Matt Surich are classmates, for being inspiring. A student wrote that he's always in a good mood, he's engaged with students, and he's inspiring because he's a good role model and helps students look at the bright side of things. So, congratulations. Oh, and he was on the communications committee. Thank you. So again, thank you. I mean, congratulations to both our top scoring T-Birds. All right. Do we have board board committee reports this evening? Nothing? Policy? Nothing? All right. Well, then you're going to have to continue to hear me speak because we have instruction and curriculum. So we just had our meeting for our March meeting. Few things that were presented. Number one, there was a presentation from Dennis Jarvis about our new science curriculum. This is exciting for 6th through 8th grades. So Mr. Gallo and I have been on the instruction curriculum committee for some years. There was concern about that in the past there's been a drop in middle school science scores. So in testing. So along with Ms. Kraft, they wanted to address that for that middle school curriculum. So the current curriculum in Rampo Ridge is domain specific and topic specific. So you do earth science 1 year, life science 1 year, like that. But testing, when they test in 8th grade, is not domain specific. It's covering all 3 years of 6th through 8th grade. So they wanted to actually look at programs that built on each other and were not sort of isolated and teaching only specific domains. So they looked at several different programs that looked at the science standards. They brought in several vendors, and the final decision was to go with Activate Learning. And one thing that I thought was very important is all the science teachers at Rampo Ridge were also included in making the final decision. Activate Learning, it's a little less flashy, but has very good content. Lots of labs and student involvement, which Mr. Jarvis said they were very interested in. And there was a lot about analytic discussions with students and scripted lessons for teachers to encourage discussions with students. I know some of you don't want to hear this, but Ramsey did put this curriculum in place a few years ago, and they've demonstrated actually very positive results with it. So there'll be a soft launch in September. There will be PD, professional development, over the summer, and it'll be starting to be incorporated in September. So that was one. Second, we had Ms. Ophira Kearns come and present to us, and I'm not even sure if people are aware, but there is a cursive writing requirement now for grades 3 to 5. So before leaving office, Governor Murphy signed into law that New Jersey students needed to be proficient in reading and writing of cursive by the end of 5th grade. In particular, to read historical documents. And Mr. Hughes just left. I was going to, our civil service person, such as the Declaration of Independence. They looked at several handwriting companies, which are quite expensive, but they did decide on a smaller company called Sandlier. And there will be accompanying workbooks and Chromebooks. They can do it on workbooks, Chromebooks. There's a parent-home connection, and materials can also be sent with them to work on there as well. Next, Dr. Fair reported about the reflective practice, their evaluation program. And this was started last year. The goal was to legitimize the evaluation process for highly competent teachers. And the program has grown and transitioned very well from last year. The practice has expanded and individual projects have grown and become more creative and engaging. So Dr. Fair presented us with a few examples of some of these projects. Infusing readers workshop into 6th grade classrooms, developing tier 3 supports, reviewing data charts and student performances on iReady. And the school psychologist is looking for something to use as the best practices in autism screening. So all these projects, the goal would be to work with their supervisors, principals for next year, and perhaps present some of these projects as well. So a very successful program. Thank you, Dr. Fair. Ms. Kraft had an AI committee update for us. A few things. They developed the framework for guiding plan, the vision and pillars. One thing that was very interesting is they established a student advisory board, which I thought was really great. And this was students 4th to 12th grade. And they're going to be meeting with them mid-April. So I think that's a good piece of it. So they're talking to students as well. It's not just teachers doing this, et cetera, or administrative people. And then there was some proposed curriculum writing for the summer that Ms. Kraft brought to us in the business department, and for the new science and math curriculums. All right, that's all we have. Board member remarks this evening.
So I don't have any problem using the new science program that Ramsey's using as long as our positive results are more positive.
Then there's. All right, excellent. But I sometimes just bring up the name and there's like a reaction from some of you.
Sometimes I think you do that on purpose.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Rick. Anybody else? Ms. Jansen?
In the spirit of math conversations and science, I wanted to thank Mrs. Schaffner for hosting the perennial math tournament. Last Saturday, my son participated.
Oh, excellent.
I saw a variety of children participating. They were having a lot of fun in the building. And we had kids busing from Cherry Hill and all over the place. So it was a really good turnout, and just making math fun, so.
Where was it held?
At Mahwah High School.
At the high school, okay.
So thank you to Mrs. Schaffner, as I know she's retiring, and it's been a very strong effort from her registering many, many students.
Excellent. That's great. Great to showcase our schools. All right, new business. Shall we move on to new business A through R? All right, I need a motion on the floor. Mr. Hughes, second by Ms. Ting Jansen. Ms. Hiramoto, roll call, please.
Mr. De Silva,
Yes.
Mr. Gallo,
Yes, and I'm sure in A, there's a check or two I have to abstain from.
Ms. Tamanero,
Yes.
Mr. Houston,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mrs. Ting Jansen,
Yes.
Dr. Morphy.
Yes. All right, let's take our new business personnel. We generally take our retirements separately. So we will do 18A, B, and C. And so I need a motion on the floor. Mr. Gallo, seconded by Mr. Hughes. Ms. Hiramoto, roll call, please.
Mr. De Silva,
So, I would like to wish our retirees, as I always do, a very long and happy and active retirement. For Mr. Pascal, I was lucky enough to know him as a science teacher in high school, and then as principal, obviously in my role here, and with all three of my kids going through the high school. And, it was not abnormal to see on a Saturday to be out in Pennsylvania at a winter guard competition. And Mr. Pascal comes in 10 minutes before Mahwah goes on, just having come from the robotics competition in Connecticut. And as soon as he's done, on his way out, taking off his winter guard shirt and putting on his indoor percussion shirt because he has to get to South Jersey before they go on. Mahwah has absolutely been blessed to have John as high school principal. I wish Dr. Fair all the luck in the world trying to fill those shoes. I wish Mr. Pascal's lovely wife all the luck in the world, because that man is not just gonna sit down and relax.
He's being home on weekends.
Yeah. So I wish him all the best. But I'm going to not take the superintendent's recommendation. I'm gonna vote no on accepting the retirement.
Oh, boy. On all three, you're voting?
No on A.
Just okay.
Clear.
Yes on B and C.
Thank you.
I'm gonna join you, Rick.
Uh-oh.
What happens if the board does not? Can we not test that?
Mr. Gallo?
I think we need at least a quorum vote, so the rest of you, please vote yes.
I'm a definite yes on John's retirement and all the retirees. And for 36 years of remarkable service to this district, we have no right to slow him down in his retirement, a well-deserved retirement. He certainly left a mark. I mean, we probably spent hours talking about our experiences. But one thing you can say about John, he was a hands-on leader of that school. He connected with every element of that school, from the kids, the faculty, the supervisors, the parents. I remember doing a strategic planning meeting when we had alumni come in and they would talk about their experience with John 10, 15, 20 years ago as the leader of that school. And yes, it'll be difficult to replace him, but I'm sure that he's going to be happy getting his weekends back and putting fewer miles on his cars. But I think the Mahwah High School will always have a special place in his memories. And as he's left special memories in the minds of many of his students. So, yes, please retire with great joy and happiness.
Okay, Ms. Daviniero?
I guess it's a begrudging yes. I'm young enough that I only had John as a principal and not as a science teacher. But he, you're welcome. I know you miss me.
That's a
but
whole
I'm not here.
Mahwah alum thing, okay.
He's fantastic, and I texted my daughter while we were sitting here. I sent her a picture of the retirement announcement, and she's like losing her mind in my text right now because she's like, "Well, that's not fair." She's like, "I'm going to high school next year." She's like, "I don't understand what's happening," and she was like, she knows him from being engaged in different events, and she's like, even just his social media posts, she's like, "Mom, usually like older people are a little cringy." She's like, "But he's fantastic." She's like, "His posts are great." She's like, "And they're fun and they're engaging." She's like, "I was really looking forward to that." And I'm like, there's like lots of kids I think who will feel the same, that they're missing out on that experience because he was great. I know whoever comes in next will be fantastic also. There's never been a person here that we were like, "Oh, this isn't great." So I know the experience will continue, but John's just a really special person.
No pressure, Dennis.
None whatsoever. But yes, so yes, but not because I want to say yes.
Thank you. Mr. Houston?
I'm a yes, and I will just say that my experience with John was outside of the schools, and to see the influence that he had on kids, especially boys, who he would give a gift to when they got their arrow of light and say, "You return this to me when you get your Eagle Scout." And he was at every Eagle Scout Court of Honor that I presided over for Mahwah Troop 50. It was always a pleasure to have him there, and the kids were always excited to have him be there and be part of that milestone in their lives.
Thank you. Mr. Hughes?
Yeah, I appreciate the dedicated service of all of our retirees. Mr. Pascal is an absolute legend in the Mahwah School District. Really appreciate all of his service. Mr. Pushy as well. I had Mr. Pushy in 7th grade history class with Mr. Butel, so he was a phenomenal teacher as well. But I'm going to be joining Rick in voting no. And, let's just go. Mr. Pushy's going to kill me, but I'll do no for all of them.
For A, B, and C.
Yeah, why not?
What a trend you started, Rick.
Okay, Mrs. Ting Jansen?
Rick never gets to go first again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, with a congratulatory note for all of them. I hope they truly enjoy their retirement. I mean, listen, it's truly a joy to be able to walk out of something you love and enjoy time with your family. So I don't begrudge them that, but I do wish Dennis good luck finding a replacement.
Thank you. And Dr. Morthy?
Yes, and I just want to say, these three retirees, I just added up, have 83 years of experience in total. I mean, Mr. Pascal, as everyone's spoken, is truly a legend. But again, Mr. Pushy and Miss Simini with over 30 years as well. I mean, this is the dedication to our district that is just unbelievable. I think I would the only remarks on Mr. Pascal is I always remembered his sharing that, before he came to teaching and so on, that, he had actually gone to divinity school originally, or theology school, whatever. And seminary. I wasn't getting the right word. I was waiting, Steve, for seminary. And I think that's what always struck me, because John's presence created calmness, created safety among our students, a sense of security, a sense of you can go to school, and high school can be tough, but there's somebody there in a leadership position who's really looking out for you. And when I actually mentioned it to my children, who both had John as a principal and went to Mahwah High School, they said, "Ma, he's one of the good ones. He's just a really good guy." And they felt that. So when students feel that, it creates a real sense of, warmth in a school. And I think that's just what he created. And students know he supported them. He went to the dedication. I mean, I don't know how he did it. I mean, truly, attendance at events, cheering them on, all of that. So sadly missed. He will be sadly missed. Not yet, but we will sadly miss him. And I think it's not even hard to replace. I don't know if we replace it. I think we've got to find somebody who brings new energy to that position. And Dr. Fair, you've always done that, and we trust the process, but it's going to be a tough one. But yes, I vote yes. Congratulations to all three.
I think before he actually wraps up, we need a selfie with the board.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We'll make sure that happens, Mr. De Silva. All right, next let's take 18 D to O. Motion on the floor. Mr. Gallo, second by Ms. Ting Jansen. All right, roll call, Mr. Raja.
Mr. De Silva?
Yes.
Mr. Gallo?
Yes.
Ms. Tavanero?
Yes.
Mr. Houston?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mrs. Ting Jansen?
Yes.
Dr. Morthy?
Yes. Public questions or comment. Public participation at board meetings is in accordance with bylaw 0167. At this time, members of the public may ask questions or make a comment on educational issues or school matters of community interest. As a matter of fairness, you're asked to limit your questions to no more than one and your remarks to no longer than 3 minutes. If you're here representing a group, please identify yourself, the group, and your position in the group. If you're here as an individual, please give us your name and address. All right, motion to open the meeting to the public. Mr. De Silva, second by Mr. Gallo. We are officially open to the public. Seeing no one coming forth at this time, motion to close the meeting to the public. Mr. Hughes, and second by Mr. Houston. Thank you. All right, we do need an executive session at the end, and we will adjourn from there directly. Thank you for coming this evening.